Hello, welcome to DEEPSIGHT. Today we are going to discuss the history of the Persian Empire, the race and origin of the Persians, the political, economic, cultural, artistic, religious and other aspects of the Persian Empire, as well as their contribution to the development of world civilization. The Persian Empire was one of the most powerful empires in ancient times. It once ruled a vast territory from Egypt to India, and its civilization influenced many countries and regions in the Middle East, Europe, Asia and Africa. The history of the Persian Empire can be divided into four main phases: the Achaemenid dynasty, the conquests of Alexander the Great, the Seleucid and Parthian dynasties, and the Sassanid dynasty. In this video, we will briefly introduce the main features and events of each stage, as well as the reasons for the rise and fall of the Persian Empire and its impact on the world. First, let's look at the origins and race of the Persian Empire. The ancestors of the Persians migrated from Central Asia to the south and west of the Iranian plateau around 2000 BC. They had contact and exchanges with the local Mesopotamian and Elamite civilizations, and gradually formed their own culture and religion. The Persians belonged to the Indo-European language family, and their language and culture share common origins and connections with some European peoples, such as the Greeks, Romans, Germans, Celts, etc. However, Persians are not descendants of Europeans. They are distant relatives of Europeans. Their skin color and appearance are also very different, from light to dark, from gold to black, from blue to brown. The genetics of the Persians also show their mixing and exchange with other races. Their genes contain elements from Africa, Asia, Europe and other sources. The genetic diversity of the Persians is a reflection of their history and culture. They have fought wars and peace with Egypt, Greece, Rome, Arabia, India, China and other countries and regions, influencing the development of world civilization. The formation of the Persian state is a long and complex process, which involves multiple periods and stages. It is affected by a variety of internal and external factors. It also reflects the changes and development of Persian history and culture. The formation of the Persian state can be divided into the following main stages. Primitive tribal stage. This is the earliest stage of the Persians, which started around 2000 BC and ended around 550 BC. At this stage, the Persians were a scattered tribal alliance. They lived in the south and west of the Iranian plateau. They had contact and exchanges with the local Mesopotamian civilization and Iranian civilization, and gradually formed their own culture and religion. The Persians were initially divided into two main tribal confederations, Parsa and Mada. The Pasargada tribe later became the core of the Persian Empire, and their capital was Parsa, later known as Persepolis. The Mada tribe mainly lived in the central part of the Iranian plateau, and their capital was Ekbatana, later known as Hamadan. At this stage, the Persians did not form a unified country. Their political organization was centered on tribal leaders, their social structure was based on families, their economic activities were based on agriculture and animal husbandry, and their cultural characteristics are mainly based on oral inheritance. Empire building phase. This was the first glorious phase of the Persians, which began around 550 BC and ended around 330 BC. At this stage, the Persians established their first empire, the Achaemenid Empire, which was one of the most powerful empires in ancient times and the absolute superpower in the world at that time. Once ruling a vast territory from Egypt to India, its civilization influenced many countries and regions in the Middle East, Europe, Asia and Africa. The founder of the Achaemenid dynasty was Cyrus the Great, leader of the Pasargada tribe, who defeated the Astyages of the Mada tribe in 550 BC, unified the Persians and began his conquest. Cyrus the Great successively conquered Mesopotamia, Anatolia, Syria, Babylon, Egypt and most of Central Asia, establishing a huge multi-ethnic empire. Cyrus the Great was known for his tolerance and kindness. He respected the culture and religion of the conquered people, released the Jews who had been captured by the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar II, and allowed them to return to Jerusalem to rebuild the Holy Temple. Called God's Anointed, Isaiah 45 verse 1. At this stage, the Persians formed a powerful country. Their political organization was centered on the king, their social structure was based on class, their economic activities were based on trade and taxation, and their cultural characteristics are dominated by written records. Decline of the empire. This was the first crisis phase of the Persians, which began around 330 BC and ended around 224 AD. At this stage, the first empire of the Persians, the Achaemenid dynasty, was destroyed by Alexander the Great of Macedon. The Persian territory was divided and occupied, and the Persian culture was Hellenized. An alienation, the Persian state was destroyed and weakened. Alexander the Great was the son of King Philip II of Macedonia. He inherited his father's throne and his ambitions for Persia. He led an elite army and launched a campaign against the Persian Empire starting in 334 BC. In a series of wars, he defeated the powerful army of Persian King Darius III and occupied all Persian territories, including Anatolia, Syria, Egypt, Babylon, Persepolis, and Susa, and the Indus River basin. Alexander the Great was famous for his bravery and wisdom. He was not only an outstanding military commander but also a visionary politician. He respected Persian culture and religion, adopted the Persian administrative and taxation system, and promoted the Greek language. Greek mythology, Greek philosophy, Greek architecture, Greek sculpture, Greek drama, etc., formed a Greek-Oriental mixed culture, known as the Hellenistic Age. At that time, Persia was actually a symbol of civilization, and Alexander the Conqueror was an army of barbarians. The Persians have superior living environments and conditions, grand buildings, and high productivity. The arrogance of the Persians caused them to retreat in battle against an army that was only a fraction of their strength. Alexander also became one of the most famous conquerors in human history. After Alexander the Great's death, his empire fell into chaos and fragmentation, and his generals fought for his inheritance, forming several kingdoms, the most powerful of which was the Seleucid Empire, which succeeded the Persian Empire most of its territory, including Anatolia, Syria, Babylonia, Persia, Central Asia, and the Indus Valley. At this stage, the Persians did not form a unified country. Their political organization was centered on local rulers, their social structure was based on tribes, and their economic activities were based on agriculture and animal husbandry. The cultural characteristics of the country are mainly oral inheritance. Imperial Renaissance phase. This was the second glorious phase of the Persians, which began around 224 AD and ended around 651 AD. At this stage, the Persians established their second empire, the Sassanid Empire, which was one of the most powerful empires in ancient times. It once ruled a vast territory from Egypt to the Indus River Valley. Its civilization has influenced many countries and regions in the Middle East, Europe, Asia, and Africa. The founder of the Sasanian dynasty was Ardashir I, a local ruler in southern Persia who defeated the last Seleucid king, Artabanus V, in 224 AD, established a new Persian Empire. The most powerful period of the Sasanian dynasty was under the reigns of Shapur I and Khosrow I, who expanded the empire's territory into Egypt, Armenia, Arabia, Central Asia, and the Indus Valley. It fought long wars and peace with the Roman and Byzantine empires, becoming one of the most powerful empires in the world. The culture and art of the Sassanid dynasty were revived. It abandoned the influence of Hellenism, returned to Persian traditions and native land, rebuilt ancient capitals such as Persepolis, Susa, and Ecbatana, and restored Zoroa. As the state religion, Siddhism developed Persian language, Persian literature, Persian calendar, Persian architecture, Persian sculpture, Persian painting, Persian music, Persian chess, etc., forming a unique Persian style, known as Sasanian art, Sassanid art. At this stage, the Persians formed a powerful country. Their political organization was centered on the king, their social structure was based on the nobility, their economic activities were based on agriculture and handicrafts, and their cultural characteristics are dominated by written records. Stage of the fall of the empire. This was the second crisis stage of the Persians, which began around 651 AD and ended around 1501 AD. At this stage, the Second Persian Empire, the Sasanian dynasty, was destroyed by the Muslims of Arabia. The Persian territory was occupied and divided, the Persian culture was Islamized and assimilated, and the Persian country was destroyed and weakened. Arab Muslims refer to a group of peoples who started from the Arabian Peninsula in the 7th century AD and believed in Islam. Under the leadership of the Prophet Muhammad, they established a huge Islamic empire. They successively conquered the Middle East, North Africa, West Asia, and Central Asia. Asia, South Asia, and some areas of Europe established a multi-ethnic empire. Islam was founded by Muhammad. It believes in one God, Allah, and believes that Muhammad is the last messenger of Allah. It believes that the Quran is the last revelation of Allah and that the human soul will be resurrected after death, be judged by Allah and enter heaven or hell. Islam is famous for his strictness and enthusiasm. He promoted Arabic language, Arabic culture, Arabic art, Arabic science, Arabic philosophy, Arabic law, Arab education, etc., forming an Islamic culture known as the Islamic Golden Age, Islamic Golden Age. Islam defeated the last Sasanian king, Yazdijir III, at the Battle of Nahawand in 651 AD and occupied all of Persia, forcing the Persians to accept it changed the culture and religion of Persia. At this stage, the Persians did not form a unified country. Their political organization was centered on Islamic leaders, their social structure was based on Muslims, and their economic activities were based on commerce and taxation. Their cultural characteristics are mainly Arabic. Empire reconstruction phase. This was the third glorious phase of the Persians, which began around 1501 AD and ended around 1736 AD. At this stage, the Persians established their third empire, the Safavid Empire, which was one of the most powerful empires in modern times. It once ruled a vast territory from Turkey to India, and its civilization has affected many countries and regions in the Middle East, Europe, Asia and Africa. The founder of the Persian Empire was Ismail I, the leader of a Sufi sect in northern Persia. He defeated the Koyunlu dynasty in 1501 AD and unified Persia. And began his conquest. Ismail I successively conquered Turkey, Iraq, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Afghanistan and most of Pakistan, establishing a huge Persian empire. Ismail I was famous for his bravery and piety. He respected Persian culture and traditions, adopted the 12 Imams, 12 Shia, as the state religion, and promoted Persian language, Persian literature, Persian calendar, and Persian architecture. Persian sculpture, Persian painting, Persian music, Persian chess, etc., formed a unique Persian style, known as Safavid art. At this stage, the Persians formed a powerful country. Their political organization was centered on the Shah, their social structure was based on the Shia clergy, and their economic activities were based on the Silk Road. They mainly trade with the Indian Ocean Road and the Indian Ocean, and their cultural characteristics are mainly Persian. The Persian Empire ended its third glorious phase, the Safavid Empire, around 1736 AD. It was replaced by the Afsharid dynasty of Afghanistan, the founder of the Afsharid dynasty. The man was Nader Shah, an outstanding military commander who defeated Ottoman Turkey, Russia, India and other countries and regions and restored the territory and prestige of the Persian Empire, but he was also a cruel and tyrannical ruler. He was assassinated by his own men in 1747 AD, leading to the collapse of the Abdali dynasty and the fragmentation of the Persian Empire. The Persian Empire began its third crisis phase around 1747 AD, which was the demise phase of the Persian Empire. It lasted for nearly 2 centuries until around 1925 AD. At this stage, the Persian Empire was divided and ruled by multiple local dynasties, the most famous of which were the Zand dynasty, Qajar dynasty, and Pahlavi dynasty, all of which attempted to restoring the unity and glory of the Persian Empire, but none of them succeeded. They all faced internal turmoil and external aggression, especially pressure and interference from Russia and Britain. These problems led to the decline and backwardness of the Persian Empire. The Persians' national crisis. The reasons for the demise of the Persian Empire are multifaceted, including a variety of internal and external factors, and also reflect the changes and challenges in the history and culture of the Persians. The reasons for the demise of the Persian Empire can be divided into the following main aspects. Political aspect. The political system of the Persian Empire was a monarchy centered on the Shah. It lacked effective checks and balances, which easily led to the Shah's tyranny and corruption, as well as the struggle for power and interests between the nobles and priests. This system also led to turmoil and violence in the succession and replacement of the Shah, as well as rebellions and divisions among local rulers, which made it easier for people to be dissatisfied and resisted, as well as intervention and control by foreign forces, which gradually weakened the political stability of the Persian Empire. And national unity. Economic aspect. The economic system of the Persian Empire was a feudal system based on agriculture and handicrafts. It lacked effective development and innovation, resulting in the poverty of farmers and craftsmen, as well as the oppression and development restrictions of merchants and capitalists. The result was unfair and unsmooth distribution and circulation of resources and wealth, chain reactions leading to confusion and crisis in taxation and currency, and ultimately the shrinkage and loss of trade and markets, which further weakened the economic strength and national wealth of the Persian Empire. Cultural aspect. The cultural system of the Persian Empire was an ethnic system dominated by Persian and Shia. It lacked effective tolerance and diversity to a certain extent, which easily led to the exclusion and suppression of other languages and religions, as well as other ethnic groups and cultures. Discrimination and conflict have led to the closeness and rigidity of thought and scholarship, as well as the stagnation and backwardness of art and technology, and have developed into the conservatism and isolation of traditional and local consciousness, as well as the resistance and rejection of modern civilization and foreign culture. To a certain extent, the cultural charm and national identity of the Persian Empire were weakened. The modern influence of the Persian Empire is multifaceted, including the following aspects. Descendants of the Persian Empire. The main descendants of the Persian Empire are Iranians, who still use Persian, Farsi, as their mother tongue and retain Persian culture and traditions, such as Nowruz, Persian New Year, Persian literature, Persian music, Persian food, etc. Other descendants of the Persian Empire include Tajiks, Kurds, Pashtun, Pahlavis, Ossetians, etc. They are distributed in various countries and regions in the Middle East, Central Asia, Caucasus and South Asia, and their languages and culture were also influenced by Persia. The heritage of the Persian Empire. The heritage of the Persian Empire is rich. It includes Persian achievements and contributions in various fields such as history, geography, politics, economy, culture, art, religion, science, philosophy, law, and education. The legacy of the Persian Empire has an important impact on the development of world civilization. It promoted exchanges and interactions between the East and the West, and influenced the history and culture of many countries and regions such as Greece, Rome, Byzantium, Arabia, India, China, Europe, and the Americas. The heritage of the Persian Empire is also preserved and displayed in museums, libraries, academic institutions, cultural organizations, tourist attractions, etc. around the world for people to learn and appreciate. The influence of the Persian Empire. The influence of the Persian Empire is lasting. It exists not only in history and culture, but also in modern society and life. The influence of the Persian Empire can be seen in the following ways. Language. Persian is an Indo-European language with a long history and rich vocabulary. It has influenced many other languages such as Arabic, Turkish, Urdu, Hindi, Bengali, English, etc. There are many words in Persian that have been borrowed from other languages, such as paradise, bazaar, market, etc. Literature. Persian literature is an ancient and beautiful literature with rich forms and contents. It has influenced many other literatures, such as Arabic literature, Turkish literature, Indian literature, European literature, etc. There are many works and writers in Persian literature that are cited and praised by other literature, such as the Quran, Shahnameh, Rubaiyat, etc. Art. Persian art is a unique and exquisite art with diverse styles and techniques. It has influenced many other arts, such as Egyptian art, Greek art, Roman art, Byzantine art, Arabic art, Indian art, and Chinese art, European art, etc. There are many works and artists in Persian art that were imitated and praised by other arts, such as Persepolis, Susa, Ecbatana, etc. Religion. Persian religion is an ancient and profound religion with rich theories and practices. It has influenced many other religions, such as Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Bahá'í, etc. There are many beliefs and doctrines in Persian religion that are borrowed and respected by other religions, such as monotheism, Judgment Day, salvation, free will, good and evil, etc. This is a brief introduction to the history of the Persian Empire, the race and origin of the Persians, the politics, economy, culture, art, religion and other aspects of the Persian Empire, as well as their contribution to the development of world civilization and their impact on modern times. I believe that after watching this video, you will have a good understanding of Persian history, culture and civilization. The Persian Empire was a great civilization that left a profound mark on history. Its influence and legacy still exist today and are worthy of our in-depth study and understanding. If you want to know more details and stories, please visit our website or subscribe to our channel. We will provide you with more exciting content. Thank you for watching. See you next time.